Hey everybody, welcome to a video I've been pretty excited about making. This is probably one of my favorite pieces of equipment, the Roland SP-404 Mark II. It's currently updated to the most recent firmware as of June 2026. I love this thing. I love it. I love it. I don't get to use it a lot when I'm producing my music because you know, if you're familiar with streaming services and stuff, you don't get to the contracts state in most of the streaming services that you're not allowed to use samples, and anything that you use has to be your creation and your creation solely, which I think is silly. But so I don't get to use it very often, but we're going to use it today. Now, where I got my samples for this video is one of my favorite TV shows, the Trailer Park Boys. I think it's like season, I don't know, 2, but the episode's called A Dope Trailer's No Place for a Kitty. So I haven't taken any samples from anything else. So everything you hear is going to come from that specific episode and nowhere else. And I like to do that specifically to force myself to try and be creative with what I'm given. Now this thing's a powerhouse. It can do more than I'll ever need it to do, but I'm gonna let you see my workflow a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is give you a quick play of the samples that I have here, okay? If they're long samples, I'm not going to play the whole thing. No one wants to eat up their time listening to a bunch of long samples. But so here we go. So this is the, this is the theme song we've got here. Cool.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there.
All right, that's Bubbles talking about how nice that kitty is. Let me adjust the volume down so I'm not blowing your eardrums.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there.
All righty. So let's see.
Suckers.
All right, that's somebody knocking on a door.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
That's Mr.
Kitty,
Leahy.
kitty, kitty.
It's Bubbles again.
This guy's pulse is a little slow, but
I like that part. The pulse is a little slow. There's Bubbles.
Randy?
All right, Mr. Leahy saying Randy. All right, more knocking on a door. I like that knocking sound. That's going to be our kick. All right, this is a song that they're listening
so much
to on the
easier to
show.
understand, like really hard thinking and stuff, to make it a lot clearer. Holy.
Right, and we can actually pull some samples out of that, right? It's not real. I wouldn't call it cheating, but there's some nice kick and snare in there, right?
Do you want it in the box?
No, what I want.
Right, and that's them asking if that's Trevor asking if they want the ladybug, some caterpillar in a box of ladybugs. All right, there's a kitty cat meow. I like the meows. We're gonna cue those and do chromatics of
yeah,
them.
they were licking the shit out of them.
I just thought that was funny. There's another kitty cat meow. So the first thing we're gonna do, the part that I wanted to, that made me want to do this video is, I think this part right
That's
here.
one fucking nice kitty right there.
Right, I don't know why, but that sounds pretty rhythmic to me. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna chop that, okay? If you're not familiar with this, I'm gonna go ahead and just give you a rundown. Don't worry about the BPM on the screen. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing at the moment. So the first thing I'm going to do when I have a new project after I've got everything in here is I'm going to check my effects and make sure I've got no effects on. I'm going to push this down. All right, we can see our bus 1 effects bypass. That means it's bypassing all effects. Bus 2, we're bypassing all of those effects. Bus 3 and 4. Now, those are the main out effects that you can put that just basically go for whatever you're playing all the time, always. And the way to turn that off is we're going to hold the, we press this button to get into our bus effects, right? Now we're going to click down on the little encoder knob, click, and then we just press that button again. Man, that thing goes quick. And you can see it turns off. Now, I'm also going to show you something else that's pretty neat. There's a remain button right here that a lot of people don't know on this thing. Like if you're messing with, like if I hit the delay button right there, if you watch, see how it kicks it back out and you lose that screen, right? Let's turn that back off. Watch, I'm going to hit this delay button and then I'm going to hit remain. And if I hit remain, that screen's going to stay up. It's not going to go. And that works for every screen in here. So if you're getting really upset because your screen's going away, there's a little tidbit for you. Remain means to remain. All right, so same thing with your bus effects. Well, no, that's current pad. So, all right, cool. So that's how we turn our 3 and 4 off to make sure we don't have anything stored in there on the master effects. So let's chop this thing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to...
That's one fucking
We're going to
nice kitty.
select that. We're going to look up here, right? So P3 is project 3. A2 is the current pad. We're in A, and we're on the second pad. So
That's one fucking nice.
cool. We're where we need to be. Now, to chop, we go over here, the Start End button. If you look below that, it says Chop. We're going to get to that menu by hitting Shift and hitting Chop. Right? Now, I've already got some chops in here for this thing just to save time. Okay? If you want me to show you how to chop, I can do that too. So basically what I'm going to do is after I'm done selecting all of my chopping areas for time management, right, I'm going to assign to pad. Okay? And it's going to ask me what pads I want to assign. This is on the A bank, right? So we're going to come over here to the B bank. All the yellow flashing ones are available, and we just press the button.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there.
Right, so there we go. That's his whole thing. There's one nice kitty right there. So then we're just going to hit enter to chop it. Right, now after I've chopped something, it's kind of robotic and it's kind of it's a harsh transition.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there.
And you can hear the clicking in that. So the first thing we're going to do after we make a chop is we're going to adjust our envelope. Right, I can give you a rundown of what an envelope is real quick on the first one while I do it. So same thing. When you're working with a pad, look at the pad. Right, B7, we'll start out with 1, so B1. We're going to hold our shift, and we're going to hit pitch speed, because you can look below that, it says envelope. This is our volume envelope. I'll just call it volume, just for easy understanding. So I'm going to press this button a couple times. All right, if I turn this up a little bit to like 2 or 3, right, maybe even 6. You just don't want it to mess with the volume because that's what it's going to do. This ramp is the volume, so it's going to start lower than 100, get to 100, and it's going to stay there. So we're going to hit C3, so C1, 2, and 3. You'll see these little things here. And what I'm going to do is come over here, and I'm basically going to keep hitting this. See how it affects that volume? Right, and what I'm going to try to do with my envelope is I'm going to turn it as far over as I can from both the attack and the release, right, the front and the back of it, where it doesn't affect the volume of what I'm trying to accomplish. Right, it's not gonna affect it too much. So, and you'll see that when I go through and do this real quick, right, I'm just going to go, and the reason, okay, and all I'm trying to do is make it not, right, trying to make it not so harsh.
Nice.
I don't know if you can already,
Nice.
you can already kind of hear it becoming
Kitty.
smoother.
Kitty. Great.
See how, listen to that click. Hear that click? No more click. There's that click. All right, so now that we're done with that, let's get out of this and let's listen to what it sounds like when we sequence that out, right?
That's one fucking nice kitty right there. Kitty right there. Kitty.
Right?
That's one fucking nice kitty right there. Kitty right there. Kitty right there.
That sounds much smoother and much cleaner. So I'll take off gate. Gate just means that when I press the button, it's going to start playing, and when I let off the pad, it's going to close the door like a gate. Just imagine like a big sliding door. As soon as you let go of that button, it's going to cut that volume. So it's a very short one, so you're not going to notice much of it.
One.
You can see how it stays lit. Right.
One fucking
See?
nice.
I'm going to turn off the gate.
Right there.
So,
That's one fucking nice kitty right there. Kitty right there. Kitty right there.
boom, there you go. So that's the kind of rhythmic thing that I was thinking of when I started, when I first came up with the idea to do this video. So we're going to have B right there. I use these letters, forgive my autism. but I use these letters to kind of help me understand what's what's, right? We're in the B bank. If I press this button again, you'll see it flashes. That's G. So you see B/G. So it goes, you know, A through J. So B is bubbles, right?
That's one fucking nice kitty there.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come out and I'm going to do C, right? I'm going to hit the C bank, and this is where I'm going to store the cat noises, right? C for cats. Autism, sorry. So let's come back in here and find our kitty cat noises, right? And I'll show you how I'm going to...
That's one fucking nice
What do you think your probation?
kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty.
Right, and we're going to chop that up and use it too, so I'll show you another cool technique too. Don't forget that you can copy any of these pads to any of the other banks to work on them later. So right, A is where I put everything that I bring in, and the other banks is where I work on them. So let's go ahead.
Kitty, kitty.
Right, so I'm going to hit copy, and you can see there blank to blank. I'm going to hit this one, and I'm going to come over here to the bubbles bank, and you'll see that there's an empty pad here, right, because it's not lit up. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to hit copy again. Boom. Now,
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
it's still there on my A bank in case I ever need it, but I can modify that next one.
This guy's pulse is a little slow, but
All right, here's another bubbles.
nose is dry.
I'm just
Belly
looking for
doesn't
kitty
feel
cat
right.
meows. I'm looking for the meows.
Could be anything.
All right, so there's no meows in there, so let's copy that one over here to the bubbles bank. All right.
Great, 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 great.
Oh, sorry.
Randy?
All right.
Do you want it in the box?
No, what?
Okay. So there's a kitty cat meow. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. That's pad 11. I'm going to copy 11 over to C bank for kitty cats. Meow. Okay.
Yeah, they were licking the shit out of them. Nice kitty.
All right, cool. So there's another kitty. So I'm going to copy 13 over to the kitty bank. Okay, I'm going to hit copy again, and that's how I get that there. So hopefully as I go through this and talk about it, I'm going to try not to make this an hour-long video because I absolutely can get lost in making an hour-long video. But I'm just showing you my workflow. That way, if you're not super familiar, or if you are familiar with it, maybe this can, I don't know, maybe it can help you get somewhere. Okay, so we've got our alpha, our starting, we've got our bubbles bank, and we got our kitty cat meows. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue on with that pattern and put these samples where I think they belong, right? So let's go ahead and do the D bank, which is where I'm going to keep my drums. Okay, so anything that sounds like a drum. So let's see.
That's one.
All right, that's someone knocking on a door right there, so I'm definitely going to copy that over to my D bank. All right, cool. Let's get back to A. That was
What do you
3.
think your
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Randy?
All right, cool. That's a nice one too. So we're going to sample that and turn that into a beat as well. But first, let's go ahead and put it in the appropriate place. I like to be as organized as I can when I do this stuff. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll go back into my A bank after I've got everything organized where it needs to be and delete everything out of the A bank. And then I'll use the A bank to play in. So, it's just organizational. You'll see me, I'll hit these buttons over and over and over again after hitting them. I have a horrible memory, so we're looking for drum beats. Right, that was that one. See the difference in the gate now? Right. All right, cool. That's definitely a drum beat, pad 9. So we're going to take 9. We're going to put that over here in our drums. We're going to copy that out. Come back here.
Do you want it in the box?
That's
Yeah,
kitty.
they were licking the shit out of them. Yeah, they were licking the shit out of them.
So I think that's it, right? We got the knocking on the door. Knocking on the door. And then this is them
Man,
riding in the
books
car.
make it so much easier to understand, like really hard thinking and stuff. They make a.
There you go. So I think we've pretty much got everything organized out. I don't know where I'm going to use the theme song yet. So let's go through and finish out our workflow with our start and end points, okay?
That's one.
What do you think what do you think
Kitty,
Randy?
kitty, kitty.
Do you want it in the box?
Yeah, they were licking the shit out of them.
Do you want it in the box?
I don't know where I'm gonna put
Do you want it in the
do
box?
you want it in the box and
Randy? What do you
Randy
think your
and
probation officer?
so these three.
Randy?
Maybe we'll put those down in the bottom of the bubbles pad. So let's copy this one down here, right? I think that was 10.
Do you want it in the box?
Yeah, that was 10 from the other one. Now we're going to copy 7 to the 14. We'll copy 4 to the 15. Right, so that now we have kind of our speaking parts down here.
Do you want it in the box?
Randy?
Really?
What do you think your probation?
All right, so let's go ahead and start cleaning up our samples to get ready to use. So we have these pretty clean.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty.
All right, so we're not going to use that whole thing, right? We're only going to use a part of it. Now, there's two ways to do this. One is permanent, one is not permanent. Okay, so check this out. So, two things also, right off the bat. You see the roll here? The roll will play like the last few seconds towards the end, right? And hitting the sub pad will play the sample through the beginning. So watch.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Right? If I let go, it
Kitty,
stops.
kitty, kitty.
Now, if you're working on trying to create a smooth transition, like if you're trying to make a loop into something, that's where this end piece comes in because it's so super nice. So you don't have to play, if it's a long sample and you're trying to work on the end of it, you got to listen to the whole freaking thing until you get, to the end of it to know where the sample's at. Not anymore. Check us out.
Here, kitty, kitty.
Look at that. It plays like the last little bit right there. So you can clean up that end. Another thing we're going to look at here is let's look at some of these other flashing buttons. This is really important when you're in the start end menu, okay? So I'm going to hit resample. All right. Now, if you look, it says 0 cross snap on, 0 cross snap off. This is also really important when you're working with loops and stuff like that. What a 0 crossing is, if you look at this, let me zoom in here real quick. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's pick a, I'm just going to move this over real quick. I'm going to show you just so I can continue on. Now, if I zoom, that's not going to work. Let's find something that's got a good wave on it. All right, perfect. So you see this line in the center? That line in the center, that dotted line that goes through the center of the wave is our 0, right? And 0 means no noise whatsoever. 0. It's moot, nothing. So the 0 cross snap, right? Did you see what it did there? How it moved over? So we'll turn it off. I'm going to move this encoder 1, right? I'm going to move it to like right here somewhere. I'm going to turn that snap on and see if you can watch this, if you can see it. Did you see that whole thing move? And if I zoom in, you'll see that it goes to a 0 crossing. And the reason why that's important to have is because if it's on the positive side, the upside, where you cut it, you're going to start with sound, right, when you hit something. So it's going to immediately have a sound there, which means no matter what the back end of it is, it's going to be different than the front end. So the reason we use the 0 cross snap is to make sure that your sample starts at 0 and your sample ends at 0. That way you can, if you've ever worked with one of these things and you keep getting clicking noises, two things. Where's your envelope at? Right, make sure you got a good envelope that we did earlier with the front and the back volume. And then make sure that your 0 cross snap is on, okay? Yeah, let's see here. 0 cross snap off. I can't really remember what the remain is, probably because I don't use it. So now let's zoom back out and let's get back to what we're doing here, okay? So let's see.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty.
So right, I want the kitty, 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 but not the here, kitty, kitty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my third encoder, right, C3, where it says end, and I'm going to roll that back. Now over here with my smaller encoder, I can tune this in. Okay, now I'm not going to be using this for a loop, so it doesn't really, I don't have to have 0 cross on.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
but I do want to make sure that it doesn't sound too snappy. So I want to give it a little bit of breath afterwards.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Right, I want him
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
I want him to finish
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
making noises, right? Okay,
Kitty,
cool.
kitty, kitty.
All right, cool.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
All right, cool. So there's two things I can do. I can exit out of this, and the SP-404 Mark II is going to remember where this is at, right, until I turn it off. Okay. Or I can just cut. I can truncate, which means to remove these pieces that are in the highlighted area. So let's go ahead and truncate. And now you'll look at it. See, this is our entire start end here. So now we only have the kitty, kitty, kitty. Okay, so that's going to be, where is that?
There. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
All right, cool. So the next thing, now that we've, you know, kind of cut the sample and changed the start and end point, it's really important that we go to our start end. Okay, not to our start end, I'm so sorry. To our envelope, right?
Nice. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
And make sure that we put a little envelope on that, right?
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty.
Right, we don't need a huge envelope. Let me try to do this.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
We just want it to sound smooth and natural. That's it. So that sounds pretty smooth and natural. We're going to hit that. If you're asking yourself, how do I save my progress? You don't. It's already saved, right? As long as you truncate that, you know, you hit that truncate button when you turn it off, it's going to, that's the end of it. That's that pad now. So.
This guy's pulse is a little slow, but.
Like, I like that piece right there. This guy's pulse is a little slow.
This guy's pulse is a little slow, but.
Right, that's the part I want. I don't need the rest of it where he's talking about all the other stuff. So let's go to our start end. Right.
This guy's pulse is a little slow, but. This guy's pulse is a little slow.
Right, that's where I want it. Okay, so if you watch our line that draws when we turn our encoder here, you'll see that wherever this dotted face is, right here where the S is, that's going to be where my zoom is when I zoom in. Right? So let's see.
This guy's pulse is this guy's pulse is.
Right, that's where I want that. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back out. Now I'm going to take my end and I'm going to bring it over to where I think it's going to be at, and I'll start zooming in. Okay, let's check it.
This guy's pulse is a little slow. This guy's pulse is a little slow. This guy's pulse is a little slow, but.
I don't want the but in there. I just want the slow.
This guy's pulse is a little slow.
Right, I think that's going to be as good as we're going to get. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now watch this. We're going to truncate this. Boom. Now all we're left with is...
This guy's pulse is a little slow.
That's it. Right, we zoom out. That's the whole thing. So I'm going to, obviously, once again, I'm going to exit out of there. I'm going to come over here and shift, and I'm going to hit my envelope, and I'm going to make sure it's smooth. Right?
This guy's pulse is... This guy's pulse is...
You just got to be really careful, because you could do this.
This guy's pulse is a little...
And it kind of just slides in.
This guy's pulse is a little... This guy's...
Right.
This guy's pulse is a little slow. This guy's pulse is a little slow. This guy's pulse is a little slow.
And if you're getting tired of sitting here watching me go through each one of these steps, me too. But this is what it's like if you want your samples to be right.
Do you want it in the box?
No, what do
Do you
No.
want it in the box?
See, I want that piece too. Do you want it in the box? I think that's funny. Don't ask me why. I'm a child.
Do you want it in the box?
Right, so do you want it in the box?
Do you want it in the box?
No, what do
All right, so we're going to come over here to the end. I don't need the part where Ricky says no.
Do you want it in the box? 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 Do you want it in the
So we're going to zoom in here. Right, and I'll just move it over
Do
to
you want it
where...
in the box?
I think that's perfectly fine right there. So once again, we're going to click down on our encoder, and then we're going to click truncate again. And then we're going to zoom out, and now we've got it. So we'll exit out of this, shift envelope, and let's make it smooth.
Do you want it in the box? Do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it in the box? 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 Do you want it in the box?
You can also hit the pad. Sorry, you'll see me go back between sub pad and and the
Do you want it in the box?
actual pad.
Do you want it in the box? 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 Do you want it in the box?
Right. Once again, I apologize for the autism.
Really?
Randy?
Randy. That's what I want. I want the Randy. So let's go to our start end. Let's watch it.
Really?
Randy?
Right, we can see that our Randy is right there. Let's bring it up there. And then we can zoom in and get it closer and zoom in and get it closer. And I mean, we could zoom in as far as we want. It doesn't have to be super close. I actually want, I like to keep a little space in the very beginning. That way I have that smooth transition when I create my envelope. So there's a little piece of information about how I do things too. So let's see.
Randy? 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 Randy?
Mr. Leahy. What a silly
Randy?
dude.
Randy? Randy?
All right.
Randy? 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 Randy?
Okay, so once again, we're going to click the encoder or selection encoder. We're going to truncate it now.
What do you think your probation? Randy? 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 Randy?
Okay, very cool.
What do you
Next.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
And that's another shortcut too. You don't have to exit out of everything if you're already in the start end menu.
Randy?
Do you want?
Randy?
It'll just go to each one of them. So,
What do you think your probation officer would do?
see, that's what I want. What do you think your probation officer would do?
What do you think your probation officer would do?
Right there. And it looks like that's where
What
it's
do you
at.
think your probation officer would? What do you think your probation officer would? What do you think your probation officer would do?
Right? But don't forget, we can hit the roll.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
Oh, well, I guess it's such a short, a short
What
one.
do you think your probation officer would do?
Right? I think that last little tick there is where he starts saying if.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
All right.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
It's tough to get these little bits zeroed in when you're trying to cut words out of a sentence.
What do you think your probation officer would do? What do you think your probation officer would do? What do you think your probation officer would do? What do you think your probation officer would do?
Man, so tough. I mean, that's like,
What do you think your probation officer would do? What do you
do
think
it. He says, what do you think your probation officer would do if, and I
What
don't,
do you think your probation officer would do? What do you think your probation officer would do?
I think that's going to be the best we're going to get, so let's go ahead and just truncate that off. So I tried to clean that up the best I can. Sometimes you just have to go back in and re-record the sample. So let's go over to our envelope once again. Right.
What do you think your probation? What do you think your probation officer?
And,
What do you think your probation officer would do?
just for the sake of
What do
knowing
you think your
why you
probation
do
officer
this,
would do?
is because when people talk in
What do
real
you think your
life,
probation officer would do?
you don't just start at a
What do you
high
think your
volume
probation officer would do?
because you have air that passes through your,
What do you think your
vocal
probation
cords,
officer would
and, so you can't just like, it's not a valve that you just click. So it sounds more natural when you give it a little slide up in volume and a little slide down in volume.
What do you think your probation officer would do?
Right, that sounds pretty natural to me. Let's see what we got.
That's one fucking nice kitty right there. Kitty right there. Kitty right there. Kitty, 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 kitty. This guy's pulse is a little slow.
Do you want it in the box?
Randy, what do you think your probation officer?
All right, so all that sounds really good to me. So let's come over here to our kitty cat noises. Woo, this is the fun one. And we'll mess with these in a minute. I don't know how long this video is already, but... All right, so let's go to our start end. So it looks like it starts right around the middle. So let's go ahead and just move our start over to the middle. That's not actually bad. I don't mind that being the start point. Let's move our end. All right, so it looks like we're going to be right about here. Wish I could get rid of that little dog barking noise in the background. I probably could. So we'll truncate that one. Then our other kitty cat noise. This one's got a couple.
Nice kitty.
So let's see where they're at. There's one there, one there.
Nice kitty. What do you want for breakfast today, Daisy?
All right, so it looks like either way, I don't know if I'm going to keep the middle one where Bubbles is talking with it.
Nice kitty.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to keep the two right here. We're going to change these anyways. All right, cool. So we're going to truncate that. Now, there's two ways that I can separate these two meows, right? The first one is by doing a chop sequence. I don't think that's really necessary because I can just resample a pad that's already in here. I can sample within the machine itself, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So basically what I can do is I can either copy this pad to this one, right, and then do our start end and truncate it, or I can resample it. I don't need to resample. I'm just going to show you for the sake of doing it. So if I want to resample a pad that I'm doing, or I want to record over a pad or use a different, use some of the pads to make more, I resample. So let's do that. So I'm going to pick the pad that I want to sample, right? Now it says trigger audio or pad, which means it's going to wait for an incoming signal, or I can touch a pad and it'll do it. So basically I can just do this, right? And then that's the end of it right there. See how there's no more, but it's still recording. I just hit record when I'm done, and that's that. So let's get rid of that, and I'll just do things in a convoluted and unnecessary manner for the sake of demonstration. Right, that's the end of it. I hit record, and now pad 3 has whatever sounds that were just played on the machine. Let's come over to 3. Let's go over to start end, and this is essentially the same thing as the other one. So let's watch it. All right, cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the unnecessary. Right. All right, so I'm going to truncate that. This is why I said it's convoluted and unnecessary, because now I got to come back here, because, right, I had kept the end part. Now I'm going to go over here and clean up and just use the beginning part. Okay, so it sounds like that's already pretty good in the start, because these are little humps. I mean, there's barely any volume to them. Right, so same thing once again, we truncate it. And then, as always, now we have 3 different meows. All right, let's go over here. Let's get that, truncate that. I'm just gonna clean these up a little bit. Man, I don't know if I should clean that up. I don't know if I should cut out that first part and separate it, or if I should just leave that whole meow. Let's leave it. All right, so once again, like always, we come over to our envelope and we're going to smooth it out. Add a little bit of attack. All right, a little release. Same thing here. I mean, you can even listen. See how it's harsh? Now it's smooth. All right, so there's all my kitty cat noises. So we've got our bubbles stuff. We've got other people talking. I think we did these already.
Do you want it in the box?
Brandy, what do you think your probation?
Perfect. And now we've got our kitty cat noises. Right, and we're going to use the chromatic pad, which I'll show you in a minute. So let's come over to our drum section now. And here's where I'm going to pull the drum pieces out, okay? I don't know how long this video has been going already. Whew, 37 minutes. So what I might do is I might fast forward through some of the stuff that I'm doing to keep it as short as I possibly can. So let's get into our drum section. Let's pull some drums out of this. And this is where you might see the actual chop come in good.
Suckers. Suckers.
So I don't think I'm going to use all 3 beats. Like all 3, like the dun dun dun.
Suckers.
There's 2 distinct knocks on the door. The first 3 are one specific tone, and the second 3 are another very specific tone.
Suckers.
Okay, so let's go here and let's figure out what we're going to do. The first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy this down. I'm going to copy this one to here, and then I'm basically going to go through and clip the start and end points to where I only have one of each, really. Let's see here. Come on, man, why'd you do that? All right, cool. So let's zoom out. Let's pull our end piece back. Let's zoom out all the way. Let's pull our end back a little closer, like this. And then right, and I'm just going to move the end point up to where it gets to the closest I can think of. Now, don't forget that even though we're truncating these and like completely changing what the pad is, don't forget we've still got our original bank on the alpha bank, the very first bank. So we clip down the first one for 5, right? Now let's go ahead and hit the second one, and we'll sample the last one, the last set of knocks, right? All right, so now we got 2 distinct different beats. Right? Right, so we're going to leave that there because that's essentially the same as the first 2.
Man, books make it so much easier to understand, like, really hard thinking and stuff. They make it a lot clearer. Holy fuck, man, here it is.
All right, so we've got a snare or a clap or something in there along with a beat, along with the drum. So, sorry, I had to drink some water. I don't usually talk this much. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that bass out of there, and then I'm going to pull that snare out of there. That's going to essentially be all. I don't know. Let's listen to it again.
Man, books make it so much easier to understand, like, really hard thinking and stuff. They make it a lot clearer. Holy fuck, man, here it is.
I don't know. There's a few other elements in there. So let's go ahead and clear out where he's talking first.
Man, books make it so much easier to understand, like, really hard thinking and stuff. They make it a lot clearer.
All right, so that looks like it starts about here is when he stops talking.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck, man, here it is.
All right, let's back it up just a tad.
Clear. Holy fuck, man, here it is.
All right, so I think I can probably just pull this. Let's see if I can pull it out. Just.
Oh.
Okay, let's zoom in here. Maybe I can get it before he says holy.
Oh.
There it is right there. So let's see how close we can get that. Right, so let's just pull that right out of there. All right, so let's truncate that. Cool. Let's zoom back out. All right, so there's a little hat in there too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and go into the chop menu, right? Let's chop it. So we'll go into chop. So this is, I can do one of two things. Either I can hit the number 1 here and basically just like pre-chop to the sound. So it's like boom, cha, da-doom, doom, cha. So let's see, I can do, well, that's a little shorter than I expected it to be. I forgot we cut it out. So I can hit menu. I can delete all marks. Let's listen to it. So that's that. Now listen. Yeah, so I don't want to do it that way. It just doesn't make any sense with something this short. So what we can do is come over here to our cursor, right? C1 is our cursor. And let's just play it. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and add a mark right here. So let's just hit 1, right? Sorry, 2. Yeah. And then we can come over here and move this mark. There we go. Right. I'm just gonna do it like this. It's hard to like try and show someone else my workflow. Let's see. Let's zoom in on that a little bit and see if we can get it real heavy right there. Zoom in a little bit more, and now we're just going to fine tweak it. And these are the start points. These little M's, that's where the sample starts. So 4 is going to start here. Alright, so that's what we're looking for, is that little hat hidden in there. We're going to do our best. Right, and then we'll pull 5. What we'll do is we'll zoom out, and we're going to pull 5 over to where it's almost like right up against 4. We just want that little click snare. So let's zoom in there. Right, and now we're going to hit 4. We're going to select 5 and move that out a little bit. Right. It's pretty close. Okay. So now let's go ahead and zoom back out, and I want to put my last one, that's 5, and we'll put our last one there, and we know what the last one's going to be. It's going to be this big drum. And we don't, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hit that, we're going to hit assign to pads, and we're basically going to do the same thing we did last time. Let's see. Right, that's it. So now we can clean them up. All right, so I just want the end piece there. I just want that middle. Once again, if you're tired of watching me do this, me too. Right. Right, we can actually cut all that. Right, that's perfectly fine with me because we're going to mess with the sounds later anyways. Right, and you can see the waveform there if you look close enough. I mean, you can see where we need to cut. Right, that actually didn't sound bad. That didn't sound bad right there. Alright, so let's truncate that. I think this is just a gap in between. This is where I didn't want any information, so yeah, that's it. So we can actually just go ahead and delete 13 because we don't need it. Cancel. Now let's go here. Oh, that's, sorry. Right, we're going to truncate. Alright, so let's exit out of there. I don't think we need that. Let's delete that. Alright, and let's copy this one to here, copy, and then we can take this one and delete it. So now we have our beats. Oh, sorry. I hope I'm still in the view. Those are... Right, so let's turn the gate off on all these. Right. And once again, as always, we're going to work on our envelope. Like so. Whenever you see someone that's working a lot in samplers and stuff like that, just be aware. Right, I want that to be kind of punchy at the front. I like that. I wish it didn't have the click in it. But I want the punch. Right, what I don't want is the end part. Right, that sounds great. Once again, I want it punchy in the front, not in the back. Right, you can hear how it sounds like we've almost pulled all of that information out. I mean, just because we're going to get it. Not bad. Right, punchy in the front, not in the rear. All right, cool. So, I mean, now we've got some stuff. right? I might have velocity fixed. Let me just make sure that fixed velocity is on. Yeah, that sounds good. So now we have a nice little drum sample there, like a kit that we pulled out of that. I mean, we could find something to do with it. Yeah, I think that'll work. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do for setting everything up. So I'll make another video after this one, right? This one ran on a lot longer than I wanted it to, but at the same time, I really wanted everyone to see the process of setting up the samples in your sampler. And the reason why is because there's a lot of videos out there where people just get on a sampler and they just put down, I mean, they put down some really good stuff. But I don't think a lot of people know how much work, how much effort goes into these. And I'm still not done modifying these. Okay, so don't forget, I've got effects to put on these, and like I've got things to do. We're gonna come in here. I told you we'd talk about the chromatic part of it. So let's go back into our kitty, right? Let's pick a good kitty. Right, so the chromatic part of it is where we can take a sample and we can play it chromatically or in certain scales. I'll just show you. So I'm gonna hold the shift and I'm gonna come over here to the number 4 pad where it says chromatic. Right, and now whatever pad that we touched before this, okay, remember to check C2, right, cat 2, and that's going to be whatever this effect is applied to. So this isn't really effect, this is just taking that. Now listen. So, and now, right now we're in the chromatic scale. So if I come over here and I click this encoder down, now it's only going to have, see these are dead, because now we're only working in the major scale. So this is going to be the major scale, right? And it goes higher and lower if I turn this, you can see. So let's just start here. All right, we come down. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. We'll be coming here. So that's the major scale. We got the minor scale. We got the Dorian scale, which is, you know, chord progression within a scale. So it's, right. Got pentatonics. Right, major. This is the minor pentatonic. Which minor pentatonic is what a lot of solos are written in when it comes to guitars and like 80s rock band and stuff like that, is the minor pentatonic scale. And then back to the chromatic, which is everything, right? So, and the reason we're going to use this is because we're going to take some of these sounds and use them to build a riser. And I'll show you what a riser is in the next one, where we're going up, we're doing, you know, hi-hat rolls and speed progressions and stuff like that too. So this right here is going to change the pitch of your sample, right? And in this, you can also, before I cut this video off, I'm going to show you real quick too. We can hit right here, this button that says pitch and speed. So usually in old school, it's still modern music. If you wanted to change the pitch of something, you sped up the sample or track, right? The faster you play it, the higher the pitch sounds. If you wanted to make something a lower pitch, you would slow it down, and that would give you that low pitch. So you can see right here where it says our pitch is on vinyl, okay? So if we wanted to, we could, I'm trying to remember exactly which one this is. Oh, that's that one. I wanted to keep this for the other video. Oh, no, that's to pad, to bank. No, that's that. Let me get back in here. Maybe it's the mark one. No, let's skip back. Let's exit out of that. Yes, I want to exit out, skip back. Man, I just can't remember which one it is. Shift changes the fine of it, the velocity, the value. Right. There's the speed. There's the volume. We can change the volume of it and the pitch of it. See how you see it right there? That's what I was talking about. See how when the pitch changes, the speed changes, right? If you want to go up in pitch, it goes up in speed. Now, I'm going to go absolutely insane if I don't remember which one of these buttons changes it to, it separates from the pitch and speed. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the good old-fashioned Google. And just for the sake of doing this, give me just 1 second. All right, so yeah, you can change that, blah, blah, blah. It's called pitch variation. Right, use control knob 3, blah, blah, blah. You can use the vary mode. This isn't helping at all. It says to hold shift and then click it down. All right, there we go. Cool. So, so shift right there where it says vinyl yes, we can change. Oh, whoa, hold on. Stop being silly. See, even when I use stuff like this. There we go. So so vinyl variation, right? So vinyl, no variation, backing, ensemble, off, blah, blah, blah. So we'll turn that to off, vinyl, no. Now when we change the pitch, see the speed changes the same. The speed doesn't change with it. All right, so so it's an algorithm that tries to keep this sample the same speed while changing the pitch, which is it's almost always going to sound a little funny. So if you see this. But when you change this with the vinyl style, it changes the length of the sample too, so that can be a little. But all right, well there you go. I had to Google something. Everybody Googles. We Google in life. So there you go. There's how I set up all my pads. There's still a little bit more setup to go, but the next video, I'll show you how to record these samples into some songs and stuff, and how to operate the metronome and change your speeds and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you were able to bear through it, hopefully I went through and sped up some of this stuff in post beforehand, but I did want to share how I set things up and how I do things. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you did, stay tuned. I will post another video within a day of how we use the samples that we just spent all this time setting up. So we will see you next time.